Alright, welcome back to another episode of Gaming with Andrew. This is Medieval Dynasty. Where we last left off was my unfortunate encounter with a boar that nearly killed me, and now we are going to see what else the game has to offer. So, if you recall, we have a well, we have a resource storage, and we have one small house, and that's it. So, first we're going to take a bath. So if you look down there, bottom right, or bottom left, the bottom right of the bottom left, you'll see that it says we're dirty, so we're going to take a swim. So one of the things that I did while I wasn't recording was I changed one of the settings in the game. I made it so that it has fast crafting. What that means is if you're making multiple of something, it only goes through the crafting cycle for one, and then it just builds the rest. And we did that because, well, or I did that because it gets really, really tedious to just sit there for, 10 minutes trying to craft a bunch of stuff. Like, that's, not the most exciting part of the game, and so I changed it. Because remember, my philosophy of gaming is that if you're not enjoying yourself, if you're not having a good time, then what's the point? It's supposed to be an escape from the world. Some people like grim, gritty games, and I admit there is a time when I enjoy that. And other people like, games like, say, The Sims or whatever that is a little bit more relaxing, and I get that too. And this game is on the more relaxing side, although it has some stressful moments like almost dying from a boar. But one of the things that I didn't want to do was spend all my time just watching things, Sure, it takes longer to craft, say, 20 cups than it does to craft one in the real world. But I kind of want to escape from the tedium of the real world. So some of the more grindy parts of this game I just got rid of. You can also change it so there's no hunger, there's no thirst. You can change it so you have unlimited carry capacity, which I admit I'm tempted to do sometimes. You can change, well, here, I guess I'll show you. So you can change turn events off, unlimited HP, which would have perhaps helped me with the boar, unlimited stamina. So right now I have poisoning, so if you eat rotten food or certain types of mushrooms, it poisons you. Temperature. During the winter, you can get cold, for example. But this is what I turned on, fast crafting. But you can also make it so that you gain experience points or technology points faster. You can change the length of seasons. You can make it so your inhabitants don't need food or need lots of food, etc., etc. So it's the kind of game I appreciate because you can customize it to however you want to play. So, one of the things I am not going to do in the playthrough as I record is do these story quests. So, some of these I might do, but I'm not going to do that one. I'm not going to do that one. I will do a little bit, but I will tell you, Unigast, you learn about your uncle. I'm about to spoil one of the storylines in the game, so if you want to play this and not be spoiled, jump ahead about 2 to 3 minutes. So basically, your uncle, he was a Robin Hood type figure, stole from the rich, gave to the poor. Lots of people loved him, but turns out he was also secretly super cruel, killed a bunch of people. Unigast eventually found out, and he murdered your uncle. And you then have a choice of saying, well, he deserved it. You can turn him in, or you can just say, hey, leave and don't come back. That's the gist. It's interesting, but a lot of these story quests are lots and lots and lots of running back and forth and carrying things, and it's an interesting story, but it's only worth doing, I think, once. Alwyn's story, for example, you eventually get a cool bow out of the deal, plus some farm equipment. But you can make your own eventually, so not really worth it. So what we're going to be doing in this playthrough is strictly the dynasty aspect, where we're going to try to build our own village, get our character married, and have an heir. Okay, so currently it's summer, which means I can collect berries, which I will want to do. Berries are one of the earliest forms of food that you'll want, and they only come out in summer. Later on in the game, once you have a really good food supply going, what you can do is collect a ton of berries and then let them rot and turn it into fertilizer. But for now, what we're going to do is collect a bunch of berries because we can eat them and avoid starvation. So one of the things I like about the game is that, as I said earlier, it's kind of relaxing, but it has just enough realism that it's sort of you like to see things kind of grow and get better. So in some respects, it's a life simulator, except in this game, as a general rule, your life constantly gets better. Everything you do is moving incrementally towards a better life, a better situation. And I don't have to tell you all this, but the real world sometimes, many times, doesn't work that way. So it's kind of a nice break where you're not going to constantly be worried about things going super sideways. I mean, yeah, there's bandits in the game, but you can turn that off. But worst case scenario is you die, and it just reloads your last save. So, I mean, it's relatively low stress. And you can creatively build your village, and you can do it in a bunch of different ways. Oh, I forgot, I wasn't paying attention. You look down and you see I'm overburdened. I have almost 20 pounds of berries, or 20 kilograms of berries. Alright, I can't remember if I cleared this out last time or not. We're about to find out. Looks like I probably did. Yeah. Okay. So let's go store our food. So there's something to be said for enjoying a situation where you can just guarantee that things will get better. And as much as I try to have a positive outlook in life, and my goal in making these videos is to try to encourage people to relax and enjoy just the moment, and hopefully make people feel a little bit better about themselves. I acknowledge that for some people, myself included, if people know the story about my family's health issues, or mine for that matter, things don't always go the way you plan. Things don't always get better. In fact, sometimes things get worse, and you can do everything right, and they still go bad. And unfortunately, that's life. So I like to, when I'm in a mood, play games where that doesn't happen. You know, sometimes I enjoy games like, I don't know, I just started Disco Elysium, for example, and things can go sideways really fast in that game. Or, I don't know, any number of games where things can go sideways really quickly and you can end up being killed or whatever really easily. Alright, let's cook some of this meat. So that's the end of the day. We're almost at the end of... Let's roast some meat. So you see this cycles about 8 seconds or so to roast meat. And instead of doing 8 times 8, 64. I'm a lawyer, but I can do at least a little bit of math. One of these days I'm going to say something like that and get the math wrong and just embarrass myself. But that's okay. Anyway, that's so much faster than what it ordinarily would have been, which is just sitting there for a full minute. So this is 50%. So every now and then, if you eat meat that is on the low end of being good, you can end up being poisoned. So the trick is to always keep some St. John's wort in your inventory, because it's a little bit overpowered, but it reduces poisoning by 20%. And it's just a negative 20%. It's not like times negative 20%. So if you're at 40%, it just takes you down to 20. You know, it doesn't take 20% of 40%. So if you have 5 of them, you can get rid of 100% poisoning, which is great. All right, so one of the things we're gonna do is dig up this and maybe get a log or two, just so that we can have some for building. Might as well do some of that before the day ends. Because one of the things in this game is you will never, ever have too many logs. So many things need logs. I wish cutting down trees in real life was this easy. I, for the first time last summer, I think it was, cut down a tree in my yard that was dead, and so I had to buy a chainsaw. Well, I didn't have to, but I used it as an excuse to buy a chainsaw. And I bought one of those Ego, you like how you look inside that stump? That's the only part of the game that annoys me, is every now and then there's like a weird bug where if you're not like exactly lined up, it's like it doesn't know what you're doing. Anyway, I bought one of the Ego chainsaws, basically an electric chainsaw. And let me tell you, by the way, if you're looking for a chainsaw, it's great. That thing easily as much power as a regular chainsaw. You like the lighting that you can see popping into the distance? Anyway, so the chainsaw was great, but I cut down my first tree ever. And the tree is right next to the road, so if I messed it up, the tree would end up in the road. And let's just say that I spent a long time planning to make sure that when I cut it, it fell properly. Watched some YouTube videos, which, by the way, I can't speak highly enough of random people on YouTube putting videos out on how to do everything from, you know, hemming pants to cutting down trees. And it fell exactly where I wanted it to. To say that I was thrilled is perhaps an understatement. There's nothing quite like cutting a tree down and having it fall exactly where you want. Didn't hit anything in the neighbor's property, didn't go in the road at all, and I was able to then cut it up and haul it off in pretty short order, and it was great. So it's getting dark. We're going to have one more day of summer. If I had any... I do have some fertilizer, so I'll show you guys... Well, I don't think I have any seeds that I can plant. Yeah, so I'll plant rye in the autumn. So I don't think I have anything that plants in... Oh, I can plant this though. I'll show you that. Okay. We'll do that tomorrow. And this will be... I'll do that in autumn and do that in the spring. Okay. So I have 3 fertilizers, so I can make exactly 3 fields. Alright. So, day 3. So, what I'm going to do is first figure out where I want the garden to be, or, sorry, the farm to be. So the village is going to be here, near the water, so why don't we do it, why don't we start it, why don't we have like an orchard or something here, and then we could put farmland out there. How about that? Alright, so first we're going to need to build... figures I need to get a log. We're going to build ourselves a wooden hoe. Alright, let's assign this to that. Alright, so now we're going to build farming. We're going to build an orchard. Actually, let's see. What I can't remember is if hop plants... Yeah, they need to be planted in orchards. Okay, so we're going to build an orchard. So the way that this works is you just drag sort of however wide you want it to be. Okay. So this is... There we go. So you gotta do that before you can... Okay, so that now is one sort of orchard. You know what I need to do is I need to... That's what I forgot. I need to make a bag. So let's go get the leather. Did I put it in here? I must have put it in here. So you need bags in order to plant... So the way that this works is a bag actually counts as a tool. And what you do is you pick the seeds you want to plant. The bags also work for fertilizer too. So you need a bag to spread fertilizer, you need a bag to plant. So. Boom. Let's try this again. There we go. Okay, so now we have hops. And the way that this works is you can then look at your fields and it will list all of the fields and orchards you have, and you can open them up and it will show you what's planted in them. And if it's ready for harvest, it's yellow. If it's growing, it's green. For farms, which we'll get to eventually, these colors matter a lot, but for orchards, they don't really matter so much. Alright, I don't think I have any other seedlings. I do not. Let's see if I've put any in here. I don't think I have. I have not. Okay. Perfect. So, if you notice that our next task for the game, which is, as a reminder, these chapters are how you get more building types. So as you do them, it gives you the ability to build more buildings. So you have to do these. You do not have to do the story quest, so we're only going to do this. So, hunting lodge should be... does not need to be anywhere near this, so we're going to have sort of a construction area or a production industrial area, and then a lodging area. So I'm going to have homes and things through here, I think. We'll see. Maybe I'll change my mind. And then let's put the hunting lodge back here. That seems like a good spot. Okay. So we're going to build hunting. So let's build it. Right here. So we need some stone. Let's find some stone. So one of the things the hunting lodge will give us the ability to do, once we start getting people working for us, is hunters, which gives you a supply of meat. So, logs, like I said, you're always going to need logs. Might as well get them all because we're going to need them all. And then we're going to have to go get a bunch. Eventually, you can also build up, you know, a collection of logs, but early building is going to be lots of get materials, build, see what I mean? So we're going to need to get a bunch of sticks. Fortunately, sticks are everywhere. So, one thing that hopefully people who are watching this appreciate is that there's sort of no, in my mind, wrong way to play a game. I know I've said this before, but I'm not a purist at all. I own almost every gaming console on the market. So you could say I'm a quote-unquote gamer. I also am playing this obviously on my gaming PC, but it's all about you and enjoyment and what you want, which, I don't know, maybe is a little selfish, but when it comes to gaming, I think that's okay. I know there are some developers who make the game and they're like, you have to play it this way or else, and that's fine. But that means then that they're just limiting their market, and as long as they do that knowingly, who cares? That's fine. Like, they don't have to cater to you, but it also means that you shouldn't feel guilty or less than for not playing it. For example, the Dark Souls games. Right, I got another skill. The Dark Souls games, I generally do not like. I don't like games like that have, or like Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy, which is sort of another one of those games that's notoriously difficult on purpose. And I don't really like games like that. But that's okay. It's not wrong to like games like that. And I can certainly appreciate why people like it, because then you feel accomplished when you actually succeed at, you know, beating the game or beating a section. And sometimes that sense of accomplishment is worth a lot. And I can appreciate that. But I don't really like that, and so I don't play them. And you know what? It's fine. So here we're getting reeds to make the roof, sort of the thatch roof. If you pay attention, you can hear, well, assuming I didn't screw up the sound mixing when I edit this, you can hear the sound of like birds and other things, bugs in the background. Like every now and then something flies by. You can also hear delightful. I need a log and some sticks. And you can hear the gentle music in the background. So it's kind of a relaxing in a way. Now let's get some logs. And so I referenced, probably in the very first video I made, maybe it's the second video I made, Bob Ross, and sort of the views about, you know, happy little trees. And by the way, if that tree falls on you, it kills you, which I found out hilariously when it sort of rolled funny, and, well, I died. And it just made me laugh out loud at the absurdity. But anyway, I mentioned Bob Ross, and it made me realize that there are perhaps people watching this video, perhaps many, who don't know who Bob Ross is, or I guess was. He was a painter. He famously had a show, I think it was PBS, where he taught people how to paint. And his belief was everyone can paint. But he did, you know, nature, landscapes and things. But his big thing on top of everyone can paint was there really aren't mistakes. Like, if you make a mistake, you just turn it into something. And he also, though, used to, every time he would, or almost every time he would make a tree, like a pine tree or something, he would talk about happy little trees. And he'd be like, oh, why don't we just put a happy little tree here? And I really appreciate that. What do I want to do? That's gonna come in handy. Ah, I already did that. And every time then now I see, or often when I see pine trees, it just brings to mind his happy little trees. And he's sort of one of the influences for me, as I, sort of the vibe that I want to get across in my videos is just the calm, kind of let things come as they come, and there's no real wrong way to do things, and let's just enjoy ourselves, and everyone should be able to do this, and everyone should be able to have a good time in the way that they want. That was his other thing too, is you could follow his painting, but he encouraged people to do what they wanted with their painting. And so that's the same thing that I want to get across, is you do what you want to do. You're playing the same game. Definitely don't have to do it the way I do it. I would be the last person to say you have to do it the way I do it. In fact, people who watch this who know how to play the games I play are also probably saying, don't do it the way he does it. That's okay. What matters is if you have a good time, you finish the gaming session going, yeah, I feel pretty good. I enjoyed that. I am slightly better off than I was when I started. Then you're doing it right. And if you don't, if you feel worse, then I would reevaluate and see where you are. Alright, well, I was originally going to plan on finishing and getting, finishing the year out. But, hey! Ah, see, the next thing, farming. Annoyingly, I should have waited until I got this quest to build the bag, but so now I'm gonna have to kill something to get leather and build another bag, but that's okay. Anyway, I was gonna finish the year out, but my wife just called, and she and little one are on their way home early, and they want me to build a fire, and so as much as I love this game and like making these videos, I greatly enjoy hanging out with my kids more. So I am going to end it here and make a fire, and I will make another video and finish out the year soon. So hope everyone has a great day, and hope that your week goes well and that you're feeling at least a little bit better than you were when you started watching. Have a good day, everyone.